Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Mr. Apula and all friends. Let me introduce ourselves. We are from Group 2 and today we will present our work on Insight for Future Research, Action of Post-COVID-19 and Human Resource Management from the article in American Psychologist which was published in August 2020. Next. But before we get to the presentation, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Kiara Putri and my friends are Icha Vivi, Olivia Ernandita, Dheano Putri, Jilham Septya, Giovanca Wapoga, Nadhira Shafa, and Shofiyatus Syifa. So the first topic is emerging change in work practices and the first subtopic is about work from home. One of the impact of work from home policies is the difficulties to maintain boundaries between work and non-work. Future research may question how do our experiences in the work and non-work domains influence each other and how do our work and non-work identities interact when they unfold at home. In order to overcome these issues, the research suggests that first one, employees should create rituals that allow transition in the absence of commuting. Besides, employees should generate and maintain connection to focus and inspire their work. And lastly, employees should cooperate with their coworkers to achieve goals and produce good performance. So the next discussion is about monitor shift and protect employee privacy. Work from home makes organizations have to carry out certain supervision to maintain employee performance. This comes with a risk of increased stress through continuous monitoring and feeling of privacy invasion. To monitor shift and protect employee privacy, organizations and employees can do the following. The first one, organization can do this by encouraging routines that increase trust in employer, such as by conducting daily check-ins. Employees have the right to protest if monitoring is done outside of working hours because it violates privacy and privacy is still privacy. And the next topic will be explained by my friends.
The next topic is virtual teams. Team with high virtuality outcomes is a team that can manage their emotional expression and communication. And here are some ways to manage emotional expression and communication in virtual teams. The first one is avoid conflict. Each member should build awareness and emotional understanding. Second, communication flow can be managed efficiently if the team members can focus on the structure and character of the communication. It will help communicate and regulate emotions among members while working with limited social activities. Emotional bonds and teamwork have an important role in team sustainability. To maintain emotional bonds and teamwork, organizations should encourage non-task interactions among employees such as online office game and bonding. This activity can help encourage the helping and pro-social behavior that might regress during the virtual activity. The next topic is virtual leadership and management. Leader styles change in response to shocks, such as the current pandemic. Therefore, the leader should adjust their leadership style by developing empathy to estimate the impact of their decisions or action on other members, and also balancing positivity and rationality to provide a reasonable decision and solution. Besides adjusting their leadership style, the leader needs to develop a new skill for organizational sustainability. To develop a new skill, an organization needs to contribute to the growth of present and future leaders to build the skill effectiveness function. Also, an organization needs to recognize potential and provide training to support the leaders and new skills growth.
And I will explain about unemployment and inequality that occur due to the presence of COVID-19. All industries such as travel, hotels, sports, and entertainment were closed due to COVID-19, causing many people to lose their job, which led to no income. In addition to loss of income, unemployed individuals experience a variety of stress-related consequences including depression, anxiety, physical illness, and psychological well-being by recognizing that work provides both time structure, social contact, sharing of common goals, status, and activity. In addition to the consequence of unemployment for individuals, there are negative spillover effects for those who remain employed. Prior research shows that when firms reduce overall staffing levels, there tends to be correspondingly lower levels of organizational commitment, job involvement, and greater stress among survivors. Then, how should employees and job seekers respond to this? First, job seekers should improve their skills so that they can be more valuable in the job market. Having useful, outstanding, and relevant skills will give them an advantage so that they have a bigger chance to be bigger than those who are skilled. Second, job seekers should not be too demanding. Asking for a reasonable high salary without reflecting on the skills they have is not wise, as the job market is a two-way relationship between employers and job seekers. These job seekers should not be demanding in the first place. Next, they can start a small business in the meanwhile. So, while looking for a job, seekers can start to open their own business for a cash flow to support day-to-day life or even offensive opportunities to those who are unlucky and reduce employment. And finally, be patient and perseverance. In this hunting on the moment job is easy since job happening in this moment is not as much, and in a normal circumstance, hence job seekers should be persistent and perhaps they can ask for faculty information from the connection they have. Next, we will discuss economic inequality. Economic inequality in workplace during government and range from big change in work environment. People used to work from office, but now they are forced to work from home due to the current circumstance, and therefore increases a great change of the way people work and office environment in a whole. This can give rise to economic inequality to an organization, and here are some insights to overcome this problem. First, a company should create an unbiased policy. Employees in organization should not be based on social status or any representational aspect, and it should be based on personal skill instead of racial, economic status, or any other social economic aspect. Second, encourage inequality in the workplace. The employee should be encouraged to create a positive and fair culture where everyone is treated to same regardless of their gender, race, or any social economic aspect. The employee should realize that they are in it towards each other, so that they can work together in a team with no social barriers. Next, how can organizations best minimize the individual and organizational costs of broader social inequality? Organizations need to reduce inequality by reducing selection bias in favor of the demographically privileged and taking action to prevent further negative spiraling of pay and benefit.
Next, I will explain emerging changes for workers. The first one is social distancing and loneliness, which may negatively impact employees' mental and physical health. So, organizations need to take steps to mitigate these negative impacts by recognizing workplace loneliness as an important aspect of employee well-being in HR policies, programs, and practices to guide the management in providing what the employees needs. Facilitating social bonds and relationship among employees. The company can set up the program that is held regularly, for example, through virtual happy hour, virtual lunch meeting, or just casually chit-chat among workers. The second one is how organization can prevent employees from experiencing stress and burnout. First, educate leaders on how to facilitate job crafting that will increase engagement, proactive changes of the workers, and make work more enjoyable. provide immediate, tangible research like training and development programs, as well as information to help them to complete their job goals. And then, offer psychological support to employees, such as motivation, positive feedbacks, and counseling programs. Next is addiction, especially alcohol abuse. What can organizations do to help their employees from getting an addiction? Here's the way. First, offer employee assistance programs to assist them to deal with their personal issues that will influence employees' health, well-being, and work performance. Promote healthy lifestyles and habits. For example, education on the danger of alcohol and its impact on work performance. Companies have to invest in machine learning that is designed to quickly detect the emergence of risky behavior.
And now I will explain about presenteeism. Presenteeism refers to the behavior of individuals who work even they are not feeling well. According to Miraglia and Jones, there are two types of presenteeism: individuals who highly engage with their jobs, and individuals who feel compelled to attend work due to high jobs demand.
This behavior must be prevented because it can reduce the work productivity and efficiency. It can also increase health problems because the illness is spreading among the workers. To avoid presenteeism, companies should avoid giving incentives that motivate employees to work when they are ill, to give them a lesson along with punishment. Educate employees by showing a good example from their supervisor, and monitor employees' health while ensuring the maintenance of employees' privacy rights.
So, in this section, we will talk about the moderating factors due to the COVID-19. As we know that COVID-19's impact and changes cause some moderating factors that affect demographic characteristics and employee traits, especially in the human resource management field and the organization nowadays. As first is in the scope of individual differences. The differences in the impact of social distancing and work from home for those with high extroversion and consciousness compared to those with lower. The Big Five personality trait as the theory predict the myriad factors, attitude, and behaviors, including those relevant to the COVID-19 situation. And also the segmenters and integrators struggling with the work from home as the important variable due to understanding the moderating factor for the individual differences itself. So, from that, the challenges question for the future researchers and also the person who interested with this topic. We'll talk about the personality traits, in particular extroversion and consciousness, functioning in response to the strong situation represented by COVID-19. In the meantime, the organization should strive to reduce unpredictability to help restore the benefit of traits such as consciousness. The second one is organizational norms. The cultural changes that happen will tend to be stronger and less flexible, leading to a greater tightness of organizational culture when the threat of infection is high. As the perceived threat of infection is lower, there will be a corresponding loosening of norms. By that changes happen in the organization should effectively tighten and loosen or close and open in response to the systemic shocks that will happen in the future and also in the short terms. And also, we shouldn't forget the role of the leader, as their duty to understand how to be ambidextrous regarding social norms, knowing when to deploy tightness and looseness as needed, since the former offers protection and the latter facilitates creativity and innovation.
Okay, I will continue the explanation of moderating variables. Demographic characteristic is influenced by several factors such as age, race and ethnicity, gender, and family status. Based on the implication of the research, we can see that pandemic COVID-19 is the source of diversity of working age in facing various health and economic risks, also retirement planning. Therefore, we need to take some action to give opportunity to the company. This problem can be done with organizational inventions such as, at the first time, companies should optimize human capital employee throughout the lifetime, like create a good work ecosystem. And the second is strengthening the internal labor market through cross-age mentoring and social events. Then, on the race and ethnicity, explain that members of racial and ethnic minority group face disparate health and economic risks related to COVID-19. The program that can be implemented to solve this problem include organization helps to create a safe environment, build a sense of belonging, and establish leadership with empathy. Next, COVID-19 likely affects gender in a variety of ways. Based on the research, we can conclude that men are more likely to face direct health threats of COVID-19. Meanwhile, women are more likely to be affected by the adverse economics and social costs. This difference of gender risk can be solved by establishing appropriate leadership to pandemic condition. The last one is about family status. Working parents with school-aged children face disparate work from home challenge. Then the action can be taken to solve the problem is working couples should communicate openly about divided household labor and childcare, ask children's needs and feelings, and make family gathering together.
Next, I will explain about the discussion and the conclusion contained in this journal. First, the result of the discussion in this journal about the author organized a large and diverse virtual team of researchers to make sense of COVID-19 for questions of relevance to work and organizational psychology. As is known from prior research, the benefit of this approach because many hands make light work and many heads are better than a few, especially as we are dealing with an urgent phenomenon like COVID-19. Secondly, the overview in this journal is limited and the author may have missed some trends or development that later turn out to be significant. Among the many current announced, it is not yet known badly the global economy will be affected and how quickly it will recover. Third, it is obvious that COVID-19 will be recognized for changing the way people work in fundamental ways. And then, from the discussion, the author finds challenge for the worker. The first challenge for individual working is more people will need to learn to work in ways far different than how previous generation worked. Next challenge is COVID-19 makes clear the vulnerability that employee and the employers face, as many businesses around the world will be restructured or disappear due to the pandemic. Workers will be retained or laid off. The economic, social, psychological, and health costs of this action are likely to be immense. And the final challenge is an understanding how this abruptly emergent change unfold is important for practitioners who are charting path forward address the needs vulnerable categories of employee. For instance, working life alone may have very different virtual working needs and routine than employees living with her family member.
Okay, so the next one for discussion and conclusion is the challenge for research. The first one is the extreme event, which is the pandemic of COVID-19 itself, came with some new dynamics that we didn't know this can happen, which are invisible during the normal conditions. Then, so in the research, we have to identifying and understanding those dynamics that are important. For example, like the long-term impact of social isolation and physical distancing protocols will have for employees. And the second one is different kind of crises that ever happen in history. Some crises actually ever happen in this world, for example like the 9/11 attacks, World War II, and maybe the 2008 financial crisis. The researchers have to learn from the past about how to handle epidemic and pandemic. But we know that COVID-19 pandemic is unique because it's a global health threat. that we have a new medical response such as the physical distancing. And the third one is new theory developments are needed to shape workplace through the pandemic. Because the COVID-19 pandemic is such a new thing for us, therefore we need a new adaptive action to go through it. With some new regulations and systems, we learn to live with it and recognize it as the part of the workspace. We learn how to find the way to working smarter and safer during this pandemic. So that's all our presentations. Thank you for watching, thank you for your attention, and have a nice day.